And welcome back to my channel. This is Lisa D Vlogs, and I am accepting a challenge. This is how do I make homemade baked macaroni and cheese. So I'm answering the challenge. This is from Nuffin Edited and her channel, and these are the ingredients I'm going to be using. A stick of butter, 8 tablespoons of flour, ground white pepper, onion powder, garlic powder, milk, obviously the elbow macaroni, and cheese. And I'm going to make a huge pot because my family loves this too. The reason I have the oil here is I'm going to spray my pan. Once I've chopped my cheese, I'll let you know how much I've chopped up, and I will show you how we started. I'm going to be using this small pan back here to make the cheese sauce, and that is the boiling water for the noodles. I'm going to use about 4.5 cups of elbow macaroni. Alright. As soon as everything is prepped and ready, I'll be right back to show you how to assemble it. Okay, so my water's boiling. I put some oil in there, put a little bit of salt, maybe about 3/4 of a teaspoon into the water for the macaroni. That's the only salt I'll be adding. I actually use unsalted butter all the time. That way I can control our salt intake. And we're going to drop this whole stick of butter into that pan. And we're going to add, now that's 8 tablespoons. Every tablespoon of butter will also get a tablespoon of flour. Now I did run across a problem. Oh, I was heating up my oven to 400, so that's going now. I ran across a problem and I didn't have enough milk. I use all kinds of milk. You can use 2%, you can use non-fat milk, you can use vitamin D milk. I ran out of milk. I'm going to need about 6 cups of milk. So I had to use my last instant non-fat dry milk to make up what I was missing. So I've already got it pre-mixed into this bowl, and once I've added my 4 cups of milk, I'll measure out another 2. We're going to let that butter melt, and while we're waiting, I'm going to uncap my garlic powder, my onion powder, and my ground white pepper. Once this is melted, we're going to add the flour, and you're going to cook off the raw taste. So basically what we're doing is making a white sauce, or bechamel. People call it different things. It's a roux, a white sauce, bechamel. Alright. We're just going to cook off. I'm going to lower the heat just a little bit. And you can see it in there. Butter's almost melted. And we're going to let that cook for a minute or 2 to get that raw taste of the flour gone. Otherwise your sauce will taste a little doughy, and you don't want that. So remember, I added the salt to my water. I'm not going to add it to my bechamel. See, now it's coming along nicely. Let that cook for a minute. And this is where I add the garlic powder, onion powder, and ground white pepper. I add about a 1/4 teaspoon of the ground white pepper, and I do this to our flavor, so you can do it to yours. I add probably a teaspoon of onion powder and about a teaspoon of the garlic, because you don't want to overpower it. You can always add garlic to your own plate later if you want. And now you can see it bubbling and cooking in there. This is where the milk comes in. Just let it cook for 2 or 3 minutes. Get that raw flavor off. Get all your other flavors mixed in there well, and just slowly start pouring in your milk. And immediately, already it's starting to thicken up. into a nice white sauce. So there's 4 cups of milk. I'm going to measure out 2 more cups of milk from my powdered milk. And by the way, if you don't like powdered milk, I promise you, you will never taste it once this is cooked. So I'm going to go ahead and add my other 2 cups of milk. This is going to make the sauce a little bit thinner instead of super thick. And you're just going to keep stirring it on a medium heat. I have gas, so it might be more of a medium high if you have electric. While I was off camera, I went ahead and chopped up my cheese. Yes, this is a lot of cheese. It's probably 3.5 cups of cheese. I may not use it all. Today, I am using sliced up American cheese and sharp cheddar. I have used 4 cheddar, 4 state cheddar. I've used taco blend. Even in a pinch, I've used mozzarella, believe it or not. But the American cheese will give it a little bit of a creaminess that you're going to absolutely love. Just brought you back to show you I put the noodles in. Alexa, set timer 6 minutes. Let those cook for 6 minutes. I used a 32-ounce box of elbow macaroni, and I'd say there's about a cup and a half left in that box. So, while everything is starting to come up to temperature and I'm watching my white sauce, I'm just going to start putting everything away. Clean as you go. So I'm going to start adding the cheese now that the milk is hot, and I'm going to start with the American, and it's already pre-sliced. It's just I don't have to unpeel every single slice. I like to buy it this way, especially when I'm making mac and cheese. Just peel off a couple pieces at a time, drop it in there, and keep stirring. There's a little bit of the cubed cheddar. But like I said, I'm using the deepest, biggest 9x13 pan I've got to make a lot. So that's what we're going to do. And this is going to take a couple more minutes. I'm going to wait until the macaroni is done before I bring you back. You just keep gently stirring your cheese sauce. And I'll bring you back. Alright, I actually let the macaroni cook for 7 minutes because it was quite undone. It's still in very tiny pieces. Let's see if I can show you without steaming up the camera. You can tell it's definitely al dente. My cheese is almost melted. See? Melting beautifully. I did turn it down a little tiny bit. If you wanted to do a cheese sauce for like broccoli or cauliflower, you would have only used 4 cups of milk. It would have made it much thicker, and it would stick to your broccoli and cauliflower much better. But we want it saucy so that the macaroni will absorb. Look at that, yummy. I don't know if you can see that the sauce color has changed from white and it's now orange, but alright, I'm going to turn the burner off. Very gently. Sorry about that. Pour your cheese sauce into your pan. Just like that. And then we're going to just stir it around, make sure it gets in all the nooks and crannies of the macaroni and into the corners. what you don't see is in my oven, I have a piece of foil on the second rack so that if it does happen to spill over a little bit, then I can easily clean up my oven and I don't have to try to balance a cookie sheet with all this. So you'll see it's really super soupy. We're going to bake that. I put it at 400 on my oven simply because my oven doesn't get hot. It gets hotter in the back than the front. And so I bump it up to 400. And this is going to cook for 40 to 45 minutes. And when it's done, I'll bring you back and you guys can see what it looks like. 40 minutes in the oven. Let me grab a good scoop here. Grab us a plate. And this is for you, nothing. Oh my. Oh, you guys, it smells so good. Just the right amount of garlic in there. There you go, girl. All for you. Enjoy.